Imagine you're standing in the African savannah, nearly 2.5 million years ago. The air is hot, dry, silent, until it isn't. A lion's roar echoes in the distance. There's a half-eaten carcass lying nearby, fresh but dangerous. You're hungry, starving actually, and you have no fire, no weapons, no shelter. Just your hands and your instincts. Would you risk it? Because that's exactly the kind of world the very first humans lived in. And they didn't just survive it, they started changing it. But here's the twist. They didn't even know they were human. Meet Homo habilis, the species many scientists consider the first true human. The name means handyman, and that's not just a clever label. It reflects something revolutionary, the ability to shape the world using tools. These early humans lived around 2.4 to 1.4 million years ago in Eastern and Southern Africa. They weren't tall, powerful, or particularly fast. In fact, compared to the predators around them, they were easy targets. They stood about 3 to 4 feet tall, with long arms, short legs, and a face still very ape-like. But inside their skulls, something new was happening. Their brains were larger than their ancestors, big enough to begin thinking differently, planning, problem-solving, and most importantly, adapting. Because in their world, if you didn't adapt, you didn't last long. Homo habilis didn't just appear out of nowhere. They evolved from earlier hominins, like Australopithecus, who walked upright but hadn't yet mastered tools. This transition wasn't sudden. It was gradual. Tiny changes over thousands of generations. A slightly better grip, a slightly sharper mind, a slightly more efficient way to break bones or cut meat. And those slight advantages, they meant survival. Natural selection favored individuals who could think just a bit better, use their hands just a bit more effectively. And over time, those small advantages stacked up into something powerful. Not strength, not speed, but intelligence. We only discovered Homo habilis relatively recently, in the 1960s. Fossils found in Olduvai Gorge, Tanzania, revealed something strange. A creature that looked like both ape and human. The discovery challenged everything scientists thought they knew about human origins, because here was proof. Tool use didn't come late in human evolution. It was there, right at the beginning. And those tools? Simple, yes, but effective. Sharp stones used to cut meat, crack bones, and access marrow, one of the richest energy sources available. And that energy may have fueled the growth of the human brain itself. Life for Homo habilis wasn't about comfort. It was about survival, every single day. They likely lived in small groups, moving constantly across the savannah. Safety in numbers was their best defense. They weren't top predators. Most of the time, they were scavengers, following lions, waiting for danger to pass, then rushing in to grab whatever they could. It was risky, but it worked. Their tools gave them an edge, allowing them to access food other animals couldn't. And slowly, that edge became everything. They may have also started communicating more effectively. Basic sounds, gestures, maybe even early forms of cooperation. Because hunting, scavenging, and surviving works better together. This might be where teamwork, one of humanity's greatest strengths, first began. The world they lived in was harsh and unpredictable. The African landscape was shifting, forests shrinking, grasslands expanding. Climate changes forced constant adaptation. Food wasn't guaranteed. Water wasn't guaranteed. Even safety wasn't guaranteed. Predators like saber-toothed cats, giant hyenas, and crocodiles were always nearby. Every step outside safety could be your last. And yet, Homo habilis endured. not by dominating nature, but by learning how to survive within it. They didn't control the world, they studied it. So what happened to them?
Homo habilis didn't exactly fail, they evolved. Over time, new species emerged, like Homo erectus. Taller, smarter, more advanced, better tools, better mobility, better survival strategies. And gradually, Homo habilis faded away. Not in a dramatic extinction event, but as part of an ongoing transformation. They didn't disappear. They became something new, something closer to us. When you think about it, Homo habilis never built cities, never discovered fire, never wrote a single word.
And yet, they did something far more important. They took the first step toward tools, toward intelligence, toward humanity itself. Every innovation, every civilization, every piece of technology we have today traces back to those small, vulnerable, determined beings on the African plains. So the next time you pick up a tool, your phone, a pen, anything, remember this. It all started with a simple stone in the hands of a creature that didn't even know what it was becoming. And without them, you wouldn't be here.